Hello everyone, you're listening to The Right Side of Gaming. Today we're talking about political bias in tabletop RPGs, more specifically with content that doesn't necessarily go with the woke left narrative being removed. I recently heard about an adventure, The Good Samaritan, being removed from DriveThruRPG. If you've never heard of this, that's okay, neither have I. Or its author, to be honest with you. I can't say anything about the module itself, or the creator, or the content of their work, or the quality, any of that. But there is one thing I know for sure. This is an anti-abortion adventure. I took a quote from their site, and I'm going to link the Twitter and the website of the content creator down below, but I do want to stress that I would not call his website safe for work, and while I haven't gone through his Twitter, if he's advertising that content, I might give that same warning for his Twitter as well. But this comes straight from his website. It says, "The Good Samaritan commemorates the striking down of Roe versus Wade. Hey, bad president is bad precedent. Not to mention, murder is wrong. While I'm not an absolutist, I lean stronger on the pro-life side. In any case, this is a good, solid one-shot that uses our current year political and cultural issues as a springboard for adventure. And it's free." Well, the important thing here is this is an anti-abortion adventure. Now, regardless of whether you are pro-choice or pro-life, I think there's two things we can agree upon. One is that there are people who do make good faith arguments on both sides. I think there's a lot of people that don't, but some people can reasonably disagree. Second, whenever you're denying one side and not the other, there's probably going to be some bias there. Now, DriveThruRPG, where he was making this module available, has taken it down. You cannot get it anymore. On the other hand, their RPGs for Reproductive Justice, which is a pro-abortion campaign that they're doing, is still up. So while you can't get the anti-abortion content, the pro-abortion stuff, have at it. In fact, I've seen a couple of campaigns for this lately. There's also one on Itch.io that is donating to some of the same charities. And again, pro-abortion, still up. I think I mentioned not too long ago that there were going to be people and websites that were going to discriminate against people that don't necessarily fit the woke leftist narrative. People that might be more moderate left or center or right-leaning, whatever. That if you aren't pushing the ideas that they approve of, or that if you aren't making things that they approve of, they're going to take it down. They're going to deny you the ability to sell it or distribute it. And I think that's exactly what happened here. The fact that it happened so soon after I mentioned it, that, I got a nice good example, just tells you, I think, how much this really happens in today's world. I'm not saying you have to go out and support this person, but I'm not saying you shouldn't either. I'm just trying to give you a real life example of that viewpoint discrimination that's going on. And I think it's important that we know that it's out there. I think it's important that we call it out and that we push back. Now, DriveThruRPG has the right to decide what content is and isn't allowed on their site, although there is most likely a user agreement, I imagine. And if you haven't broken any rules, there's no reason that they should be able to remove your content. Those agreements are binding on both parties, so they're going to have to follow the rules that they set out for themselves as well. That said, I don't know where else you would go to get this kind of content. I don't know who else would distribute it that wouldn't necessarily have that particular bias against it. I don't know a good way to distribute it outside of those types of sites, because let's be honest, however you might feel about third-party content, things like DriveThruRPG, Itch.io, I think, was it D&D Beyond, has some similar ability to upload fan-made content, things like that. Anything where you have a way to upload and aggregate a bunch of third-party content. I mean, that's going to benefit the people that are making it, those smaller publishers, those smaller creators, because they may not have the ability to make their own site and publish everything, or maybe they don't have the money or whatever. But whenever you have everything collected, it's a lot easier. It's like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll look through and see what strikes my fancy. You're much more likely to have your content be found. People are going to be used to it. It's like, okay, I don't do a lot through DriveThruRPG, but at least I know it's there. I've used it before. I can at least trust the site to not scam me or rip me off or whatever, even if I don't necessarily agree with their point of view. And I'm much more comfortable doing that rather than trying to, say, give my credit card info to someone messaging me over Discord or something. It's like, hey, you want to buy an RPG book? I mean, no, that's just silly. I just want to make sure that people know what's going on, what these people are having to go through and what they're having to deal with. And that if you do find someone that you want to support, that you understand maybe some of the difficulties they might be having, and maybe that pushes you to support content that might be a little more right-leaning or that goes against the prevailing cultural narrative, because I think that's something that we should support, at least in general. Again, I don't know anything about this product specifically. I don't know about all of them out there. There might be stuff that claims to be right-wing or anti-woke that actually has some pretty horrible messages, but for the most part, I think most of them are going to be pretty safe and on the level. That's all I had for today. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to leave a like, comment, subscribe, that'd be great. If not, that's okay too. I understand. Either way, I hope you have an awesome day, and I will catch you next time.